To do. If you don't think you get it the first time, watch the video again. If you still don't get it, please have somebody with a little more mechanical experience check your work. But if you can understand a few of these basic principles, then you can save yourself a lot of money and have fun. So let's get started. Okay, now we're ready to assemble a bike. When you get your bike, pull it out of the box, and it's going to have all the packaging on it. We're going to have to get all that stuff off. We'll do that off camera so we don't waste your time, but you'll have your bike, a parts box, and your seat. Now I'm going to work with a stand because it makes it easier to show on the DVD, but you can assemble your bike wherever you're comfortable, wherever you have the room, in the garage, in the house. Next time you see this bike, I will have it up in the stand ready to go. See, I told you, all the packaging's off. So we got the bike up and our parts out. Basically we have a brake caliper, pedals, a stem, quick release, and some reflectors. Now I'm going to put the stem in first. This is a quill stem with a threaded headset. Some high-end bikes have A headsets where the fork comes up through the tube and the stem bolts onto the top of the fork. But that's covered later in the DVD. So let's put in our quill stem. All this other stuff is bolted on by the factory, ready to go. We just tighten this up. 5mm metric. Look at it. Make sure it's straight. That's it. That's easy. The stem's on the bike, ready to accept your handlebars. Now, that has a couple of bolts on the front that we have to get ready. And the handlebars will just fit right in there. And put the cap back on the stem. Use your fingers first, make sure the bolts are going smoothly into the threads. They might be a little bit greasy, so just go ahead and get greasy. Clean your hands up later. This is a 4mm on this bike to tighten up the handlebars. So do a little bit on each one, get it tightened down evenly until it really starts to grab. And take a look at your handlebars, make sure they're straight. You can always go back and adjust that a little bit later when the bike's on the ground. But now they're part of the bike. Looks great. Okay, so after this, we can get our brake caliper. That's your front brake caliper. It has a couple of washers and it has a bolt which attaches from the rear. Actually, the bolt goes through the steerer tube and this nut goes in the rear. It's recessed a bit, and I think that looks like a 4mm also. Gotta get my hands right. Yes. That's going on there smoothly. Just tighten it up. Don't tighten it too much. The washers will clamp down and hold it in place once you get it tightened up a little bit. Firm it up, and that's on there. You might look at it, looks a little crooked, so loosen it up a little bit and get it where it's right centered with the fork. Now, handlebars, brakes. It's looking like a bike. I think we'll take a look at the pedals next. No, actually the wheel would be best right now. So grab that wheel, and this is covered several times in the DVD. It's really easy. Don't even really need to explain it. I think anybody it does have a spring, and we put that on when you thread the skewer through the axle. Screw that on that side just a little bit, so now we can put it up in the fork. And we'll tighten that quick release. Clamp it down. Front wheel. Handlebars, brakes. One other thing about the brakes, we have this loose brake cable right here in housing. It's already routed through the handlebar where it's supposed to be, but we have to put it to our brake caliper on the front. And that has that little barrel nut. It sits in there. And this is where it goes through that little pinch bolt. Get my trusty little wrench here, and that's also a 4mm. No, that's a 5. So, like I said, it doesn't take a lot of tools. That wire feeds right through. You'll see kind of like a hole where the wire sits between the pinch bolt and the brake is mostly set up. You could ride it like this, but later in the DVD, once again, we have a little bit more about fine-tuning your brakes. So look at that. So this bike, we have to put on some pedals. Now, we do have a right and a left pedal, and the only difference is they're threaded differently. So one of them's clockwise and one of them's counterclockwise. I put a little grease on these. It's always good to put a little bit of grease on the threads on your bike. Makes it easier to put them on too. And you might get a little dirty, but that's alright. We're do-it-ourselfers. We're saving a lot of money. I'm sorry, was that too fast for you? Anyway, that's clockwise. So the other side is the left side. And get this up where you can see it. Left side, counterclockwise. See that big blob of grease? That's a good thing. You can always clean your bike up later. I like to use Pledge. Shines it up well. Now that's finger tight, so those pedals are on there. And we'll just do one side. This is, you can see, the counterclockwise side. Tighten it up. And I really don't think with pedals you can over tighten them, but you do want to get those pretty tight. So there you go, that pedal's on. Now, I think this bike is pretty much ready to go. We do have reflectors. That's a seat tube reflector, the red one. Clear one or white one would go on the handlebars. And then these go on your pedals. I don't use reflectors, but I don't ride at night. So please, if you ride at night, use reflectors, but also put lights on your bike. It's a good idea, and it's the law, and it'll keep you safe on the road. The bike's ready to ride. We do need to put air in the tires. That's very important to keep your tires pressurized to the right pressure, and it's always on the side of the tire. These should be about 110 psi, and check that every time you ride. So there we go. Check later in the DVD for the fine-tune adjustments.